And welcome back to the Foody for Thought podcast. I am your gracious host of the evening, Kung Foody, otherwise known in the streets as James. If this is your first time joining us, welcome to the party. We have a really good old time over here. Grab your coffee, your tea, your water, your pre-workout, whatever the hell. Just don't grab your drugs. Keep them away. Or just not here. Take them somewhere else. Not here. I know, I'm horrible. I know, it's bad. But if you are returning, what the hell's the matter with you? I'm messing, thank God. Just go with it already, would you? Thank you for coming back. I deeply appreciate it. Join in the comments down below. I like to create conversation. This is about just creating a really good conversation. So, thank you for joining. Welcome back. If you are new, just please consider subscribing, liking, following, so we can dominate the world. That would be cool. If not, otherwise, I have a really cool topic to talk about today, and that is staying consistent with your goals. This is mainly in reference to your fitness goals, your health goals, athletic goals. I know there's going to be lots of different people listening to this podcast and how we stay consistent with our goals. I've been doing a lot of research over the last month or so about what people find as a struggle within their journey in fitness and health and their athletics and things like that. And I hear lots of different answers. I hear dealing with injuries. We're going to talk about that another time. I hear talking about being on the right program and plan, and they feel like they're doing a lot of guesswork. The number one thing, though, that I've found is staying consistent. Once there's a lot of starting on and off again, and I myself have had a lot of problem with that in the past too. I've on, off, and things like that, and we're all susceptible to it. But we're gonna go over 5 major points today that I want to talk about advice. Whether you are a beginner starting off, or whether you are a competitive athlete in whatever endeavor that you do. There are some tips that I think are really applicable to each person, or at least that we can generalize, because there are certain principles based upon staying consistent. And although there's different levels to it, like somebody who is just wanting to get fit for the first time versus somebody who is a competitive athlete getting paid to show up. But there are certain things that each can fall under. I think everybody can get something from the list that I created. So if you want to stick around, I got some good ones for you. So let's talk about it. First point that I want to talk about is be really clear with your goals and know your why. It's 2 under 1 umbrella. Be really clear with your goals and know your why. And I'm going to break both of those up. I think what separates realistic when we're setting them out for ourselves is that they don't take account into our lifestyle and already factors, our medical history, and yes, we can always work around that. We can push through that, yes. But where our goals meet our lifestyle doesn't always mesh up so easily, and I'm sure that you've run into that before, especially if you're like a full-time athlete, or if you're a full-time parent, you work a full-time job, and you have lots of responsibilities to take care of. And I want to go through that. So the easiest way that I found to while I've been training people is to break them up into different categories, or different categories, like level 1, 2, and 3. And here's what I mean by that. The majority of people are a level 1 person. This is 90% of people. Or level A, B, and C, whatever you want to call it. No one's higher than the next person. You just have to categorize it. But a level 1 or a level A person would be 90% of people. These are people who just want to be in shape. They want to be healthy. They want to, and that's not to say that they're low ball goals. Like, you can deadlift and squat like a pretty serious amount as like a level 1 person, or you can have there's so many different athletic endeavors that you can do, whatever your goals are. You can want to lose 50 pounds, 20 pounds, you want to gain 20 pounds, 10 pounds of muscle, whatever that it is. But this is just the majority of people that want to work out 2 to 4 days a week, that want to train in whatever endeavor that they do 2 to 4 days a week, and that they create it almost within their lifestyle. So that the thing, the endeavor, the event, the goal, doesn't have to just override their lifestyle. That doesn't happen until levels 2 and 3, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. But level 1 is where they want their fitness goals to fit within their lifestyle. And listen, there may have to be some sacrifices with that, because listen, to be realistic, you're not going to lose weight if you're drinking all the time. If you're drinking every single day, you're probably not going to lose weight. Sure, losing weight comes down to, how many calories, being in a calorie deficit by the end of the day, which is a combination of eating and activity levels, right? But at the same time, I think you and I both know that drinking alcohol every day is not a part of, a regular diet. And things like that. No, we can do social. Of course, you can drink socially, and that fits within a lifestyle, so you can enjoy yourself. But there are some sacrifices. Maybe it's being around certain people. Maybe it's taking yourself out of a certain environment more so often, because your environment is just, you're going to be a byproduct of the top 5 people that you spend time around. You're going to be a byproduct of the environment that you spend the most time around. And not always do we get to choose our coworkers, or the people, and not always do we get to choose our family. But you do have the choice to choose your friends, and you do have your choice to be able to where you want to spend time around. So you need to be able to listen to that. Getting really clear on your goals, though, if you're a level 1, what do you want to do, and what is it going to take to get there? And this also goes for level 2 and 3 athlete. I categorize level 2 athletes or level 2 people as serious recreational athletes or amateur athletes. These are people that need to train 5 or 6 days a week. This is more than likely for an event, or if they are just a very serious recreational athlete that they really enjoy doing their endeavor, whether that they would be into powerlifting or kettlebell training, calisthenics, jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, rock climbing, biking, things like that, Your nutrition and your goals, they have to align. And that too will start to now see a little bit more sacrifice for what it is that you want to do. But once you become a level 3 in whatever endeavor that you do, you might be a model. Basically, a level 3 person is that you won't get paid if you don't show up looking a certain way or being able to perform a certain way. And that's not a lot of people. Models are one, bodybuilders are one. You got to show up on time, on weight, looking a certain way, or you're going to step on stage, you're going to look embarrassing. This is also wrestlers, mixed martial artists, grapplers, competitive combat martial artists. That if you don't show up to your weight, you are not fighting the next day. You just broke your contract. And all of that takes different ways of eating, and inside of your nutrition. So you got to take a real clear look of your goals, and you don't need to eat like a level 3 athlete if you are a level 1 person. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be that way. Sure, it will get you crazy results aesthetically and probably performance-wise too. You don't have to. But that is what I mean by creating an unrealistic expectation. You're thinking of yourself like a level 2 or a level 3 person, but you could be just categorized as a level 1. You know what I'm saying? You see where that comes in? Having that realistic expectation is going to take a lot off of your mental plate to be able to carry on and do what it is that you want to do. Let's say if you're a jiu-jitsu athlete or a kickboxer, whatever it is, right? Adding in, at that point, you got to take a look at how often are you training, and then how much, if you're trying to get into a fitness routine too to help supplement that, what do you need to add on to that? As a quick pro tip, if you're like a jiu-jitsu athlete, a kickboxer, and you're trying to implement a fitness routine, start with 2 to 4 days a week, right? I'm going to go to that in my next point, in my part 2. Or my point number 2, but just roll with me for a second. You start with 2 to 4 days a week inside of, let's say, if you're training 4 to 5 times a week, or even 3 times a week, 3 to 5, 6, whatever. Start with 2, because you're going to need a lot of recovery time, and you're also going to need to eat properly. So at that point, you should just be considering yourself a level 2 athlete, where seriously, you know what I mean? So create realistic expectations for yourself based off your lifestyle and your goals. And then the second part to that is just know your why. Knowing your why, it can't just be at the surface level. This is going to take some time of reflection. This might take a little bit of journaling. This might take a little bit of time to just sit yourself down, quiet the noise, and say, why do I want to gain 10 pounds of muscle? Why do I want to start training fitness for my jiu-jitsu? And it doesn't have to be like a super complex, like, enlightenment sort of answer. That's not what I'm saying, but the deeper it is that it's meaningful to you, the more likely it is that you are going to connect with it, and that itself is just going to be easier to go. To give you some inspiration, here's my why and why I train. My fitness and nutrition and martial arts company that I use, Resilience Fitness and Performance. Resilience is a very meaningful word to me. It is a word of strength. It is a word of light. And when I mean light, I mean like the light. It is a word of protection, and it's also a word of self-connection to me. And the more that I go at and that I like doing, like kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, hiking, camping, fitness, eating well, and just exploring different interests and hobbies, it always comes back to how can I connect deeper with myself to discover more about me, and the other talents that I might have untapped, the things that I find purpose in. I did a full podcast on this on my episode 1. And so if you're ever interested on the topic of resilience, what it means to connect with yourself, go check that out. But I'll save the entire breath. But a big part of what resilience means to me is digging inside for greatness. And it's not looking at external things to go and chase after. You don't chase after love. Why would you chase after your goals when you can dig for it? You know what I mean? This is in the idea of resilience. I am on a vision personally to dig for greatness, and everything that I seek after always comes back to that. That's my why. And guess what, guys? And I'm spending a little bit more time on this than I wanted to, but that's life, right? Your why will change. You may have a vision, right? Like resilience, it's going to evolve in the future. My brand is going to evolve in the future. My personal reasons are going to evolve in the future. One of my good friends, Bobby, and I talk about, like, periodically, like, every so often, is that, like, every 3, 4, 5 years, you go through this rebirth process if you're growing properly as a person. And your perspectives of life are going to change. And him and I think, are, like, pretty equal in terms of, like, every 3 years something big changes, right? Something perspective changes, a new desire, a new thing, a new project, a new perspective of life that makes you think otherwise. Like, even once people have kids, now that's an additional why. Though it's important that you have your own why, now kids are a part of your why. Now you bought a house. Now, like, my why for wanting even financial freedom, just going outside of fitness and, fitness goals for a second. My financial being successful, right? You're going to see shifts. So at one point, every goal is different demanding. Level 2 and 3 people they have a much higher demand than a level 1 person does. They have to eat properly. It is more than likely going to have a dietary restrictions and things that you have to eat in order to be able to get the goal and result that you want. Different demands are going to be placed at different times of your life. That doesn't mean that you can't implement discipline at all of these different parts. So as you go along in your journey, it's okay that you were maybe a level 3 person, maybe you were a professional athlete, maybe you were a collegiate athlete, and you found, or maybe you were just like a football player growing up your whole life, and that was all that you knew as training, to just train for football. You know what I mean? It's okay to say, like, hey, you know what? I'm not training 5 days, 6 days a week right now. I don't got a game 1-2 times a week. I can go, or I don't have a competition. If you're a jiu-jitsu athlete, like, every weekend, every other weekend, like if you go to my academy, you're being able to go through those rebirth processes to be able to say, what are my it wasn't that, because now I really appreciate more my family time where I didn't get to spend because I was a professional, or, diverging all my time outside of work to just training and the thing. But now, like, my family's there, but my needs still need to be met. It's not backing down at all, although it might seem that way at first. All that it is that you're acknowledging that you have other callings in your life, that you will be called to be a family person, a family man, woman, a mom, a dad, whatever. You will be called to maybe a new job. You'll get a promotion, so you'll have to spend maybe a little bit more time there. And it doesn't have to be forever, but you're going to need to spend time there to make that successful. You can always, training is always there for you. It's an anchor for us. You don't have to judge yourself if you need to take a step back because you were once a highly competitive and serious rec person. If that is something that you want, then there will be sacrifices then. Maybe you do need to wake up at 5 a.m. to get what it is that you want. If that'll allow you to train every day, your schedule's a part of that. You know what I mean? You are in control of that, though. Your why and being clear on your goals are really important in staying consistent. Because once you know what it is, and you know your why, you got your clear goals that will change and they will all evolve. You see what I'm saying? Things will evolve. Go with the flow. Well, I never really say go with the flow, but go with that flow. Life is going to call you in many different directions. Stay with that. Stay with those callings. Listen, and then adjust. You always are in that power. Now, I want to go to point number 2. Point number 2 is stop planning for the worst. I think this is a really big one because I think all of us, if you're listening, I hear me out. I think we are all our own worst enemy. We will plan for the worst. Sometimes we don't even start something because if that one thing is just not in the right place, I have a doctor's appointment at the time that I would go to the gym, or, you know what, I have to stay a little bit after for work today. Like, well, I know I have a test coming up in 3 weeks. Let me just... What you only have is right now. You only have what is right in front of you. Let me tell you something. You do not need a master plan. More often, master plans are just inhibitors anyway. Because it's now a thing about performance. Now you are performing for validation. Keep it freaking simple. Whatever that this goal is, people, you don't need, if you want to get in crazy good shape, crazy strong, all these performance things, whatever, guess what? In the gym, you don't need a 7, 10 move, 12 move, 15 move workout. You can have a murderous workout in just a couple of moves if you do it right. And when I say do it right, like, you can do like 2 moves, 3 sets each until absolute failure, and then try to walk home after you just did unlimited squats. You know what I mean? I'm saying one extreme example, but when you're planning for the worst, like in your schedule, we could play what if all friggin' day. What if my schedule, what if the doctor's appointment happens and I can't get to it? Or what if my kid like throws up and like now I can't do it? Well, what if your freaking grandma had balls? Probably be your grandpa, wouldn't they? We could play this game what if all day long. But if you just keep playing it, then you're not going to get to where you want to be. You feel me? Don't plan for the worst. Just plan simply. Which transitions really well into my third point. Let me jump into that third point. Simplify now, and then you can add later. I was thinking about it before, and I was thinking about starting small, but no matter who you are, whether you're a level 1, 2, or 3, simplify now. And then you can always add later. Let's say if you're a level 1 person, and you just want to build some muscle. Awesome. Push, pull legs. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Whatever. It doesn't have to even just be like that. Obviously, you need your rest. But even if you can make Monday, Thursday, Friday. Cool. Monday, Thursday, Saturday, whatever. Okay, that's 3 days a week. Awesome. Even if you start 2. All right. Whatever your days are. Monday, Thursday. Cool. And then you can't just do until other Monday, Thursday. Start with 2 days a week. Push, pull. Then on Monday or Thursday. The next Monday, start your legs. And then you go push. And then you go pull, legs. You see, just do the next thing, do the next workout you need to do. Simple. There you go. Done. The biggest thing that I actually got from seeing people online talk about and staying consistent with, and if you're on a fitness journey, you've been doing fitness for a while, you've been an athlete for a while, I think we all could agree on this, is that people, in terms of fitness and nutrition, or activity and nutrition is much harder to stay consistent with. And I wanted to talk about that a little bit. I was going back and forth with one of my friends about that. I was talking to a couple other people about that, and I too have had some problem with that. I'm going to give you a couple, but this does come down to your. But a lot of people, when they talk about consistency when it comes to food, a lot that I hear about right now is time. A lot about here is cost effective. As a shameless plug-in, I have a series on my social media that I call Kung Foody's Kitchen that I talk about how to make high-protein meals and meals to meet your fitness goals that are all simple, time-saving, and delicious, otherwise known as STD. And did I mention that they're cost-effective? You want to stay as simple as possible, and I was going back and forth with this somebody last week, so this is really relevant right now. They were having 6 different dinners that they would make throughout the week, and they would give themselves one day to just do whatever they wanted to do. But for each dinner, they have 6 different ones, so now they need different ingredients for each one. That's exhausting. Don't do that. Just do 3 dinners a week, 3 different dinners a week, maybe even do 2 dinners a week. And I know what you're probably thinking, oh, that's boring. Well, look, there's got to be a simplification process somewhere. Feelings. Look, I'm not invalidating whatever you feel, but it's certainly, just because you feel it doesn't mean it needs to be always validated. I think we really need to get past that as a culture. I know that we're really on this right now, and I absolutely agree. Like, look, if you feel a certain way, cool, like, let's address it. But, man, at some point, like, we got to add in a little bit of, logical thinking to this, a little bit of discipline, And let me give you a pro tip in terms of making 2 to 3 different dinners a week. These things, okay, the glass ones are your best friends. These keep fresh food really fresh. They store really well. They give a little bit longer of a life, or shelf life. They keep the flavor, and if you hate this word, I'm sorry, the moistness of it. Sorry, but they keep the juiciness of it. They hold the flavor better. They have a better shelf life. It stays fresher. And yeah, it costs a little bit of money up front, but they also last a lot longer. And guess what? These things don't stain like plastic. Now, all those plastic containers, no matter what, they all talk about, some companies will talk about, like, oh, they're BPA free and, they won't contaminate your food. Look, if it's freaking plastic, it's going to contaminate your food. Let's not get away from that. Get the glass one. You're way better, okay? So, that's just a pro tip right there. Maybe sometimes you will need to meal prep a little bit, okay? If you make dinner one night, make it for, make enough portions for the next couple. If for your lunches, same thing. If you don't make it for just dinner, then, man, save it for, if you make 3 servings of it, all right, well, now I have my lunch for the next day and my dinner for the next day. Well, if that's the case, if that's not your answer, cool. If that's your answer, there you go. If you don't mind it, good. Or if you could suck it up, cool. Same thing with your lunches, though. Have 2 to 3 lunches a week. Same with dinners. Have 2 to 3 dinners a week. And you can meal prep them on the weekend if you need, or just one of them, Have easy to grab and go stuff like breakfasts. I also do those on Kung Foody's Kitchen. All these meals are super easy to make, and they taste delicious, too, okay? Just follow me. Just follow me online. I don't know what to tell you. Everything's linked down in the description. Just freaking... the terms of times, especially for a level 2 and 3, like in terms of athletes, I understand like time could be of the essence because you got to train outside of probably a full-time job or if you're a full-time student, right? And that's where you're going to have to start sacrificing a little bit of other things to make sure that you can eat right. It will require that. If you're an athlete of some sort where you're training 5, 6, 7 days a week, okay, it's going to have to happen, okay? But that doesn't mean that it needs to take long. I know some days or some people like meal prep for 3 hours. It honestly does not have to take that long. For some people that might work, but it does not have to be that way, okay? Even for level 1 people, full-time job, you got kids at home, you want to play softball, 1-2 times a week, you want to go to the gym 3 times a week, whatever that it is, you feel like you might not have some time. Where the time that you do get to cook, even for your family, just cook a bigger portion so that you could save it for later, okay? It's very easy that way. Just simplify. Keep it simple. Even with the workouts, like I was saying before, start simple. Start simple, where your workouts, do 2 days a week to start, because you're probably going to need to recover anyway. So recovery is where you are going to build the muscle that you want, the lean muscle, where you're going to want to sleep really well, right? Like, there will be some things that you need to prioritize just differently. It doesn't always have to be about like, I got to sacrifice everything to get in the gym. If you're a level 1 person, don't treat yourself like a level 3 person. Treat yourself like a level 1 person. I'll make another podcast on that. See how easy that was? Simplify now. Just give yourself to be like, okay, I'm going to work out 2 days this week. Cool. Then do it the next week. Do it then the next week. And the next week. You don't have to do 60 minutes, 90 minutes. 45 minutes is like proven time and time again to be like the peak of where you're going to be able to expand your energy. So if you have 2 45-minute workouts, there you go, of strength training, that is, right? Or, even if it's cardio related, cool. But I mean, like, walking is free. So if you want to go for like a cardio, want to just, get some calories in your steps in, just go walk, It doesn't have to be long. A 10-minute walk that does something. Start small. 10 minutes this week every day, or 3 times this week. Like everybody can do that. Big fitness myth is being able to make time. They don't find the time. It is something that you have to make. This just goes back to your goals and knowing your why. If you have a very clear understanding of what your goals are and you have a very clear understanding of what your why is, you will make time. And you might need a little help with that, but no matter what, just start. And sometimes, get this, sometimes what happens is you're going to start and you're not exactly going to know where to start. You want to lose a little bit of weight. You want to lose a little bit of muscle. And then you're going to want well, then just make a little self-promise to yourself. Just get in the gym. Just show up to the gym the next 2 times this week, 3 times this week, whatever it is. Just show up. Do a couple things. They matter too. But you can figure it out as you go along. You don't have to have everything just set up immediately. Life isn't always going to be like that. You know what I mean? But do have a plan. Get help if need be. Okay? I'm gonna talk about that in a few. But this is another really easy flow to my 4th point, which is harmony over perfection. And here's what I mean by that. Harmony over balance, I'm sorry. Harmony over balance means everybody is trying, it's the classic, I'm just trying to find balance. I'm just, just trying to balance everything out in the week. And I think that's the most I think that's the most overrated mindset of life. There is balance. I feel like finding balance more often than not, I think has led to more, what's the word for it? How do I want to say that? balance has led to more dullness in life, boredom. It is led to more staticness. That's the word I'm thinking of. It's led to more staticness in life because now everything is just the same. We're not robots. We are called to many places in life, and there are going to be different demands at different times. It's not just like, if I find my perfect balance, what's that going to last? A day? A week? If? Like, you're never going to have the perfect week. You just have to accept that perfection is just this egotistical chase that there is no end in sight, and that you're just performing for it. If you have a perfectionist mindset, and I'm not saying that's always a bad thing, because we do need an ego in our life. Ego is a very healthy thing, especially if you're an athlete in any sort. You need an ego. Like, ego is what drives success. People talk about killing your ego all the time. Step in the gym, step in the academy, kill your ego, and then you just learn. There's no winning, there's winning, but there's never losing, there's only learning. Get over yourself. Come on. We lose in life. Just let's get over this. Yeah, learn. Okay, well, you also lost. Okay? Like, perfection you need to perform for. We're trying to go after excellence. We're trying to be excellent individuals. I've talked about this on other podcasts before, so this is what I'm going after right now. Harmony promotes excellence, because harmony is talking about I will be called to many different places in life. Harmony, because I'm going to be I'm a parent, I am a student, I'm an athlete, I am a family person, I work, I have other hobbies, I like to video game, I like to do all these different things. I just harmonize it all, I just make it work, but I stay disciplined with it. Disciplined is best friends with consistency. And I'm not saying to put down motivation. Like, I think people have this weird relationship with motivation. Motivation's fun. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, I love feeling motivated when I do, but I'm not led by it. And I think that's what people are trying to say, I hope anyway. But what you should be led by is discipline. We can't be guided by our emotions our entire life. We have to be led by discipline. Our emotions are just going to play a part of it. But if we are always constantly led, how can we be consistent if we are constantly led by our emotions? We have to be led by something else. A vision, discipline, something that we're seeking from inside of ourselves to connect with deeper, a vision for yourself. Having vision is so important in life. I'm telling you, we all need vision of where we want to be, And if you're having trouble with that, honestly, my first piece of advice is just take a look at who you're hanging out around. That's the easiest practical piece of advice, tangible, that you can look at right now. And just circling back real quick, in terms of killing your ego, stop it. Tame your ego. You have to tame it. Are you just gonna, if you're gonna kill it, oh what, now in times of where you need it? Ego drives success. Huh? What, are you gonna go and compete with no ego at all? So it's just done for? So what, you don't care if you lose? Of course you do. Tame it. Control it. Learn how it works. Learn about it. Understand it. Because you always fear what you don't understand. Do you understand what I'm saying right now? Tame your ego. Don't kill it. Learn how to use it. Learn how to understand it. But just do not let it control you. You have to control it. You understand what I'm saying? Going back to harmony versus balance. Harmony, it's just accepting that life is not always going to be perfect. That is just, once you just watch, ready? You're going to fail. Can you say okay to that? You're going to fail. Probably this week you're going to fail at something. Okay, cool. Now what? Now what? Now that you just accept it, now what? The faster you accept that, and just you accept it right now, the easier it's going to be. Which is kind of like how I said before. Wow, God. I'm just having a whole brain fart over here. Which is stop planning for the worst. Thank you. That's why we have these. Stop planning for the worst and just focus on harmonizing your life. Things will always just need to work. You're going to need to put your attention in lots of places. Things are always going to be alive. Everything is living. Harmony equals living. Balance equals staticness. You know, there's a stillness in balance. And although balance could be a good thing in some aspects, but, you know, that's not practical. What is practical is thinking of your life in terms of harmonizing it. That's yin and yang. Balance is such a Western idea. And the Eastern mindset has it a little bit more right in terms of the philosophy of yin-yang. Things just move. I go this way, I gotta go this way. You know, like, this is calling me right now. Okay, wherever you are, let me tell you something right now. Listen to everything I'm about to say to you. And it's like 5 words. Or whatever the hell it is. Be where your feet are. Wherever you are, be there. My feet are here. If I'm looking at you and I'm having a podcast, this is where my attention is. I got to go talk to some on after this, but I'm going to do that later. I got to go eat after this, but right now my attention's here with you. Stay here. Be where your feet are. You're going to be called to many places, and wherever you are, be there. Okay? Picking up what I'm putting down? I expand on harmony versus balance in my in the Way of Discipline podcast. That's episode number 3, so go check that out if you want to hear a little bit more of that. But that's just a little mindset thing for you. Now that was the 4th thing, and the 5th thing that I want to talk about. And this is a little bit outside of what you can do personally. The first 4 points I was talking about, like mindset, some practical pieces of advice, and what you can do to control it, right? But I thought this was really helpful, because not always are we going to be in control of everything. And even more than that, not always are we going to want to be in control of everything. I swear I talk about this all the time with the people that I train, and anyone that I bring on new or I do a consultation with. Like, let me ask you this right now. Do you even want to think about it for yourself? Stuff going on in your lifestyle already. You're a student, or you're a full-time student, you got a part-time job or a full-time job on top of that. Maybe you already have a full-time job, you do freelance work on the side, you do jiu-jitsu as a hobby, maybe you have some kids, maybe you're responsible for cooking dinner, you got to see family on the weekends. Like, everything that you can think of in your mindset. Do you even want to think about how to program for yourself? Do you even want to think about what you need to eat next? Point number 5, outsource. Get help. It is so alleviating to just say, like, oh my God, do I even want to control that? No. Like, I don't want to control everything in my life. There will be times in my life where I will have to be, but do you need it? No. In terms of outsourcing, sure. Like, is there going to be some, like, finances involved? Sure. A lot of people that I train, I'd be like, okay, well, if you're so freaking busy and you don't want to think about what you need to eat, and you know you need, get your lunches delivered every week, or go pick them up every week. Like, there are companies now that ship all over the world, and some of them, like, again, they'll cost a little bit of money, but at some point, what's more valuable? The time of you trying to spend within your lifestyle, or just trying to be in control of everything. At some point, it also has to be about the results that you get. You know what I mean? So whether it's a food prep company, hiring a coach, or subscribing to a fitness subscription, like, and let me tell you, let's talk about this for a second, because I'm oh my God. There is the number one thing that I hear about, and it's so untrue, about going to a fitness coach for help and hiring a fitness coach, is that it's expensive. That could not be further from the truth. That's the second myth I'll talk about in this podcast. That couldn't be further from the truth. First of all, there are apps that cost less than $10 out there. $15 that you subscribe to a options. So just for subscribing to somebody's website or an app, and it might not be tailored to your needs. okay? And you're going to get what you pay for in that sense, but you are subscribing to a membership, 15, 25, 40 bucks a month, whatever that it is, that you can just, you don't have to think about it. Do whatever the app says next. Or better yet, if you go to like a gym or whatever, you can just go to the group classes that they have. There are literally tiers to this, and there are smaller tiers. There's small group training that personal trainers do that is not so like, group class oriented where it's just like, okay, now go do this, and like everyone follow me aerobic style. No, there's small group training that are based around strength training. Like I host a small group weekly that's based around kettlebell training and body weight training. We also use like other different tools too, like steel maces, medicine balls, battle ropes, dumbbells, and all these different things. It's a very curriculum-driven, progressive style-based program, to get really, really fit, and to meet your goals. But that's just another way to do it. You can meet a personal trainer once a month, sit down for a half an hour to talk about. They can, at the same time, come prepared, write your next meal plan or adjust parts of your meal plan. They talk about, okay, this first week, here's what your workouts look like. Second week, third week, fourth week. Okay, awesome. I'll see you in a month. And you can sit down with someone for a half an hour for, anywhere from $30 to $70 a month. Okay, that's nothing. Like, you wouldn't sit down with someone just for them to tell you what to do for 30 minutes, pay 40, 50 bucks or whatever, and they'll take care of your entire program for the month? Come on. You don't have to see a coach weekly. Like, would it be nice to be able to see them 2-3 times a week? Of course. And I understand that's not always where, finances are playing that. Absolutely. Of course. But there are so many answers. My small group people pay $25 a class. They have access to me throughout the whole week. They talk with each other. They take pictures of the workouts. They all have equipment that they have access to. They can go to a gym if they don't have equipment at their house to do the workouts in, or they can just go to the gym, replicate that workout to one or two additional times per week, and basically, so you see what I'm saying? They have constant access to me if they want to talk about nutrition. Like, I answer their questions, and that's even outside of like the one-on-one. I don't give them full, of course, one-on-one accessibility, but I'm just, then see me one time additional month to talk about your nutrition plan. Like, you know what I'm saying? My online services, I charge what I charge per month. But like, it's anywhere in between $150 to $300 a month. Some people are more than that, but like on the lower end for online training, you might spend 120, sometimes 150, you can pay all the way up to $500 a month for that, right? But that's even less than going in person 2 times a week for an average of $75 a session. That's for 8 sessions a month. That's $600 a month. Not everybody has the money to do that or more, but at the same time, I mean, like, there are plans for everybody. And yes, you are in control, but a little bit of outsourcing can do you a world of justice. Not always do you want to figure out how much protein you need, how much calories you need, how many workouts you need to complete this. Jiu-jitsu athletes, like, what, you think you're going to teach jiu-jitsu on your own? Like, and just teach yourself? Give me a break, Like, the best athletes and the best people out there outsource all the time. CEOs outsource to people. Athletes outsource to people. Nutritionists, personal trainers, whatever. Sure, they have the money to do it, but I just gave you a giant list of options that you can do this. Even expensive, not expensive. Eating healthy is not that expensive. And one of you just rolled your eyes. Let me just express something to you. I spend maybe $50 to $70 a week on fresh groceries. Maybe 1-2 times a month, I'll spend upwards of $100 or maybe more dollars. But I'm just restocking a couple of things. But that's maybe once or twice a month. Every other week, 2 to 3 weeks out of the month, I'm spending $50, $60, maybe upwards of $70. It's all fresh produce. I buy my vegetables, and you can buy frozen vegetables to save you time. I buy my fruit weekly. I buy my protein weekly. I have a weekly, I already have like stocks of potatoes, rice, different pastas. in my diet, but I just restock what I need, the fresh vegetables, fruits, and proteins. And every couple of weeks, I'll just restock what I need to. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are answers for everybody. And if you ever need help, like, I'll link all of my services down, like, to do an online consultation with me. I'll help you out in whatever way that I can. And obviously, as you keep coming to the podcast and you follow me online like you should be doing, then I'll be helping you out plenty. There's plenty of things, plenty of ways that you can get help. But I do really encourage you, like, seek outsourcing in some sort of way. If you're a jiu-jitsu athlete, you're not sure exactly how to, you need some little extra work, well, ask them what you need to be working on. Ask them, like, okay, what can I be eating better for? Like, how do you, like, if they do weight cuts, I don't always recommend weight cuts in jiu-jitsu. There's sometimes matches in kickboxing and MMA and wrestling and jiu-jitsu that, you might need to, I understand. But, I mean, man, like, just ask for help from your coach. I guarantee you there's some that that you can get some advice for. The scariest looking ones, may I say, the scariest looking ones in the gym or the academy are probably one of the nicest people you ever meet in your life. If you haven't figured that out yet, some of the scariest looking people, they are just like these walking grizzly bears or silverback gorillas, or these, like these death leopards. They're just jaguars walking, but then, like, all of a sudden you go up to them, they're so kind. They want to help, because guess what? We all have a starting point. In every way, no matter what, we all came from somewhere. We all started. We weren't just born 220 ripped 8-pack. That took work. Or we weren't just born being able to do all these athletic things. Sometimes, sure, but, like, to look a certain way and perform a certain way, it all takes hard work. Aside from the talent that you already have. So, just concluding that, like, seek outsourcing, like, in terms of even, like, meal prep, like I said, your supplements, you know what I mean? Like, go to a coach, and you don't even have to see them monthly. See them for the next month, just to learn a little bit if you want. 3 months, 6 months, but dedicate time so that you can really pick up on it, and that you can really integrate it into your lifestyle, and that will evolve over time, So, that's my thing. That's it. That's my 5 pieces right there. I hope that you enjoyed that. I hope you got something out of that. Thank you for spending some time with me today. If you need any help on this, or if you would like any help on training, I will link my online training services website down below in the description. I'll give you a free consultation, 45-minute consultation. If we get to work well together, awesome. If not, awesome. Then we at least get a conversation to see where exactly your goals are. We talk about what your past is like, what your medical history is like, what factors that we need to consider. We go over what your interests are, or your lifestyle is like currently, what your schedule's like, your hobbies and interests, see where that fits into, or if you're a professional athlete, what's your current lifestyle and training schedule like, so that we can figure out exactly how this supplemental training and your nutrition is going to fit into your endeavor that you're going after, or the lifestyle that you're trying to attain as well. And then we go over your goals. Where exactly do your goals fit in? Your primary goal, your secondary going to fit within what you are trying to accomplish. Free consultation. You can the sign up in my website links you directly to my calendar. You could choose any of the times on my calendar available. I will happily help anybody out who is open-minded and is open to what they want to accomplish. So that is linked down in the description below. Go check that out if you desire. But if not, thank you very much for joining me today on this episode of the Foody for Thought podcast. Again, my name is James Foody, otherwise known as Kung Foody, or whatever way that is. So if you liked it, please subscribe. Feel free to like it. Consider subscribing. Perhaps follow so we can manipulate the algorithm and take over the world together. Peace and love, everybody. Just remember, on this journey that you are on, we are not going out and chasing greatness. We are digging within for greatness. Have an awesome rest of the day, people.